world.
I know. There's
Because
plenty of
no,
people
no,
like
no,
me.
no,
And many miracles I've heard other people share with me have gone through the very same thing. So no, I'm not alone in this.
no,
There's
no, no, no.
many
But
people
what
that
you
are blessed like this.
no, but what you just said, ain't nobody going to come out of the goodness of their heart to help anybody. It's tons of people that would just give without even without even worrying about a thank you.
But they have to know.
Tons of people. But
And the
no,
only
they
way they're
don't
gonna
have
know,
to know.
how
No,
would they
see,
know?
that's they
How would
don't
they know?
have to know it.
Just
They
out
don't
of the
have to
blue.
know. They
How would
don't
they know?
have to know anything. What I mean by that,
What do you mean?
what I'm trying to convey right now is that I could just walk down. I'm in an apartment building. I could just walk down to the lobby and I just happened to spot somebody that was just down there in the lobby. Here you go, bruh. You go some change.
So that just
That,
automatic, or do you have something in you say to give that person some money?
that's just
It's
in
just
that
automatic.
moment. If I felt like doing that, which I have done in the past before, not per se in this particular like setting right here, but I have done things of that sort before. I without worrying. I don't care about your thank you. I just, if you give it, awesome. That shows that you are an appreciative person, as we like to say. But for you to say, ain't nobody gonna come out their own way to help you out, that's
I
like
can only
saying,
speak for
well, hey,
myself. I can only speak for
I,
myself.
I, I
So for
know, I
myself,
know.
there wasn't anybody coming my way. It was strangers that came to help me. Not, and maybe I need to rephrase it because if you're going to be on semantics, we can be on semantics. No one
I'm
that
not
I
being
knew,
semantic, but
yes,
I'm
you
just
are.
going off what
No
you
one that
just
I
told
knew,
me. What you
no one
just
that I
told
knew
me.
would help me. These were strangers that came knocking on my door. So how would a stranger know if God didn't tell them? How would a stranger know if
Okay.
God didn't tell them? How would they know to knock
Well,
on my door and give me something that I didn't know? How would they know to tell me if God didn't tell them?
hey, I don't know, but
Okay.
also going, you never answered my question
What?
either. You just told me a bunch of feelings you felt
That's not feelings.
about
Those were
something.
actual
No,
events
no,
that
no, no, no,
happened
no,
in
no,
my
no, no,
life.
no,
Those
not
were,
no. Okay, I'm not talking about the events you had in your life. The
what are you
events
talking
you
about?
had in your life were actuality. Yeah, they actually
Yes.
happened to
And
you
they
if you
actually
say they
happened.
happened to you. I'm not denouncing that.
So
What
what are you
I
saying?
the question was, how do you know God? How do you know God is an
That's how I
actual
know God.
entity?
I know
And that
God is
is
an
a
actual
feeling.
entity. No,
That
no.
is a
I
feeling you have. You don't know God
no,
per
it's not
se.
a feeling. That's
You,
not a feeling.
yes, it is.
I
You have
let
you
me
ever
explain.
seen God? Have you
Let me
ever
ask.
seen? Have you ever
Let me
met
explain.
Him? Have you
Let me
ever
explain.
actually met God?
Let me explain. That's how I know God. I know God through the people that He had given in their heart to come and help me. The people, I can tell you the majority of the people that, now,
That's
don't get me
BS to
wrong.
me.
Don't get me wrong. I've had some family and some friends help me over the years. Yes. But the majority of the help that I've gotten were complete strangers that didn't know me from a can of paint that came up to me and said for themselves, God told me to give this to you. I don't know why. I don't know you from nothing. I don't know your situation. They would give me the exact amount that I finished praying for. Now, those people wouldn't know that unless God told them. If I'm praying for a specific amount of money and they
Mm-hmm.
would knock on my door and give me
Okay.
that exact amount that I prayed for, that's how I know God is real. Because that person didn't know me. They didn't know how much money I needed. They didn't know why it was important for me to have it at that moment they knocked on the door. So that's what I mean when I say I know God, because when I pray in specifics and a specific answer comes to my door, I know that's God because I didn't tell nobody else. I didn't call nobody on the
Okay.
phone. I didn't text nobody. They knocked on the door and gave me $59.36. If they're giving me the exact amount what I prayed for, then I know that's God. That's not
First, I
delusional. That's a
I
fact.
doubt that. I really doubt that seriously down to the cent that somebody
Oh
gave you.
yeah, to the
But
cent, to the
okay,
cent.
if you believe that, if you
It's not
believe
belief, it's a
no,
fact. I'm telling you the
Okay.
miracle that has
Oh,
happened to me.
okay. I can't believe your facts, even if they are actual facts, because they're just stories to me because I'm a
But you
stranger.
asked for my story. You asked
No,
for my
no, I didn't
information.
ask for
But
your
then when I give you,
story. I
but you
asked
asked
for
for my
why do you
explanations. And that
believe?
was my explanation. And when I give you explanation, then you turn say, oh, that's not real. That's delusion. I don't believe it. That's I
Okay,
said,
but
why ask me? Why ask me if
okay.
you don't
Oh my
believe what I just
goodness.
told you? That makes no
Okay, but
sense.
look, just because no, what makes no sense is for you to expect somebody to believe you just because you're speaking words.
I expect somebody to believe my testimony if you ask me. Now, if you ask me
No,
for
that's
my
BS to
testimony
believe
and
somebody
I
to believe.
tell you
That's BS to want somebody
it's
to believe you just because they ask you a question. That don't
but
I
that
don't have
then
to
why have a
believe you just
conversation with
because I
somebody you
asked
don't
you a
believe?
direct question and you
Then
told
why
me a
have a
direct
conversation with
answer.
somebody you don't believe? That doesn't
Because
make
we're
sense.
talking.
If you're
Because
having a
we're
conversation with
talking.
somebody and you don't believe the words that come out their mouth, then what's the point of having a conversation? I had never
Because
heard nothing like that
that's
before in
what a
my life.
conversation is. That's what a conversation
Just stay
is.
exchanging words, just sort of sake of exchanging words and not believing each other's words.
Okay, just because again, look, let me tell you, let me say this. Let me say this. Just first of all, the word I believe that the word believe
Oh
is just a glorified word for think.
my
That being
goodness.
that being said, just because you believe in it, that don't mean I have to believe in it as well. That's just you believing in it. So
I
for you
understand
to
that
so
part.
for
But if I
so
share
no
my
no no but
information to you and you
uh,
don't believe what I'm saying and you're saying I'm delusional, then what's the point of having a
I'm not
conversation?
look again, we're talking here. I'm not calling you delusional. I said it
My
sounds like
beliefs are
you are.
delusional. And I'm like, well,
It sounds like you're aware of your own delusion. That's not saying you delusional.
this, are
It
you for real?
sounds like that.
You
I'm
have
going
your
off
interviews
for
with
going off
everyone you
what you're
talk to?
telling for going off what you're
Oh my
telling me. That's what it
God.
sounds like to me. Now, just because you said it, I don't mean I have to believe it again. So, continuing with the conversation, you still haven't said like
Oh
you're
my God.
going you're
This
going
is funny.
now going off what you're telling me. Okay, let me be more specific with you then. Have you actually met this entity that you believe in?
Oh, Jesus. Um, I will say this. I was because you are so hilarious. I can't wait to tell my girlfriends about this interview. Um,
It's not an interview. It's we having a conversation. They just happen to have questions in it that I would like to expand upon. So I will be more direct with you with this question. Have you actually met this
oh my
entity
God.
that you call God?
I was I will say this. I will say this.
Okay, you got to beat
I,
around the bush.
I'm sorry, I don't need to be laughing. Okay.
No,
I
that's
will
all right.
say this.
Good. You can
There
laugh.
are
I find it hilarious too.
because I've never had a conversation like this in my life and I will never forget it.
And I'm quite
I
sure you haven't had a conversation like this
no, and
before.
I'm
I'm a
sure
highly
no, because I've never had anyone have a conversation with that didn't believe what I was saying. And it's just the most just just the most absurd thing I think I've
I
ever
have
been a part of.
tons of conversation of people who expect people to believe them just because they're saying words. I have tons of
Yes,
conversations
when you
like
have
that
a
before.
conversation and somebody specifically asks you of your experience with God, and they
Okay.
specifically ask you why they believe God, and then
Hmm.
you tell them, I don't believe it, you're delusional, and what you just said, I think that's the most absurd answer I think I've ever had in my life. Um,
Okay. All right. Okay. Let me. Okay. Before, why you beating around the bush? Here's a question to beat around the bush on. Why do you think people supposed to believe in what you're saying, no matter what it is, just because you're saying it? Like other people do think about stuff, and other people do listen and think about what it is that you're saying. So
I
for
would
you
think
to expect people to believe you just because you're talking, that's crazy.
Then
no matter
you
what
would
the
never
question
have a
is being
conversation with
asked.
people if you
That's
don't believe what
crazy.
people are saying. You would never have a conversation with
My
anyone
goodness.
if you don't
Then
believe what comes out of
I
their
am
mouth.
200 I am 200 episodes plus into my show where I have conversations with people. I don't believe in a lot of things that they say, but yet we still
Wow.
have a conversation. Why? Because I don't
Why?
have to believe in what you're telling me, but we can still have a conversation.
Okay, let me ask you a question. I have never seen God. I have never seen God. I have never seen God. I never touched God. I never hugged God. I never felt God in a physical sense. We'll make sure we'll say that. In a physical sense, I have never touched, feel, tasted God. But in a supernatural sense, yes, I have. Yes, I have. Many times over in a supernatural sense, I have experienced God. I have felt God. I have believed God's presence was around me, in me, and or just surrounding me. Yes, in a supernatural sense, yes, I have.
Oh,
Yes, I have.
okay. And again, that to me sounds like what a feeling is. It's
Now, feelings
like
and senses are two different things.
no, it's not.
Yes,
Senses
it is.
are feelings.
Senses are
You
part
have
of
to
feelings,
you
but they're
have
not
to
all
you
feelings.
have to be able to sense the feel that you're feeling. They're the same thing. Feelings and senses are the same thing. You have to be able to sense a feeling. It's the same thing. But
You
that
are
being said,
amazing. You are really
I have
amazing.
start I have stated before that nobody like you gave them pretty much the in a nutshell the
What
same
everybody
answers
else
of
said, right?
everybody else.
So obviously we
What
on this
everybody
one
else said.
accord because that's what Christians are
So
supposed to be, on one accord.
yes, and you're right. You're right. You're right. That means that I supposed to
We've all
believe in
experienced Christ the same
what you
way. We have
believe.
experienced Christ the same way. If we all
Yes,
are saying
by
the same thing,
feeling.
different people, and we don't know each other, then we have all experienced Christ in a very similar way. Then that means we are Christians. If we believe Christ, his teachings, and that he's the Son of God, and that he's coming back one day to receive us, then yes, we are all
Yeah,
on
that's
one
what you
accord as
identify
Christians.
as. Yes, that's what you
Absolutely.
identify
As a
as.
Christian,
But
that's what I identify as.
have you thought about the reason why you never met what you believe in that's saving your soul, which we really don't really know what a soul is either, but we going off textbook about what a soul is as well.
That's all
Because
we can do. That's
if
all
you
we can do.
haven't seen, and that's what you and see, that's all we can do. That's all we can do. And you just told me in the beginning of this that you can't just go off text. You can't just read the book like it's a
You can't
book.
read this book like a text
You
because
just
it's a supernatural book. You can
but
read
again,
it, but you got to read it with understanding. Huh?
but you're learning what a spirit is from text because you haven't seen this. If you haven't met God, then you haven't seen a spirit as well. Then, if you did see feel a spirit or what we call a spirit, it's a
Mm-hmm.
feeling that you get. It's a feeling. Now again,
A feeling.
I'm not denouncing God at all. If you believe, you can believe in what you want to believe in. It's not hurting me at all. But it's quite hilarious that since you're talking, I have to believe that because you're talking. That
I'm sharing
sounds
my experience.
extremely
So
um
if I'm
yes,
sharing my
you're sharing
experience,
your
I would think
experience.
that
That don't mean I
you would
gotta
believe my
believe it
experience.
though. That don't mean
You
I
don't
have to
believe my
believe it
experience. You
though.
don't believe that
That
it
don't
happened.
mean I no, I'm not saying no, I'm not saying none of that stuff didn't happen. I said
What are you saying?
I don't believe in what you're telling me is totally in the way that you're telling me. I don't believe that God sent people to save your life versus Him saving your life, which is the one that you're praying to. And
Yes.
you essentially did call on other people to help you because that's what prayer is
Prayer is a
essentially.
conversation with
Prayer.
God. It's a conversation with God.
Okay.
That's what prayer is. So I had a
And yes,
conversation with God, and I asked his supplication for his help. And the way that he sent
yes,
help was a stranger that knocked on my door and gave me $59.36. So if I
exactly.
know that
So
he did that,
okay.
and he did that alone because nobody else could have ever known because I didn't talk to nobody else but God. Now God uses man all the time. all the time.
Yeah, and I'm about
He
to get
even
on
uses
that
you,
too.
and you don't even know that you're being used. Whenever you give,
Exactly,
and you
exactly,
give
exactly.
just
So
whatever, whenever you do, God is using you. God can use a donkey. He can use anything that is physically here on earth to be glorified.
exactly, and all of that. First of all, a delusion is an imagination. It's in the definition.